Anyway, like I was saying, it's very important to mentally prepare yourself for life as a young person, as a child even. And your parents can't always be there. They can't do everything for you because there's almost grown adults that rely on their parents for many things, because all the parents want to do the best for their children. They want to fulfill their every need. They want to buy them everything. They want to make sure they have a better life than them. But then what ends up happening is the more the child has, the more expectations they have of the world, but they don't actually have the skill to do it, to accomplish these things, to achieve these goals. And that's why you have so many young people succumbing to mental health issues, succumbing to bullying and all these things, because they don't have the ability yet to set the bar for themselves. Like, to basically understand that at some point you have to stand on your own 2 feet. And that only comes with perseverance. That doesn't just happen. That doesn't just start to happen when you turn 18 years old. That if you're unprepared for life, no one's going to get you there. So I think it's very important to teach that to your children. And if you are a young person, to understand that it's nobody else's responsibility to basically ensure that nothing can bother you. It can't touch you when you have a level of confidence, self-esteem, and understanding that it's not your business what other people think or say about you. And these lessons start very small when we're young. It's things like somebody took something from you. You go and tell your mom comes to the school, your mom has a problem with the teacher or with these other children. No, get your shit back. It starts small. Just adding more water. I already added more salt. I'm going to cover the pork shoulder, and I'm going to leave the ground meat cooking without covering it. Add liquid every time it starts to crinkle. Anyway, get your shit back, because especially for girls, people are going to bully you. People are going to say bad things about you. And you have to become more resilient. You can't let that shit take your sanity, take your self-esteem, take your feeling of self-worth. You can't do that. You don't have that option, because you have to stand on your own 2 feet. You have to persevere in this life. You have to accomplish goals, because the worst place you want to be is fast forward 20 years later and you don't have the accomplishments that you thought that you would have because you allowed yourself to believe what other people said or thought about you. And I think that's very important to understand, because that's not something that I've mastered. I'm just learning this fully now, of how much allowing other people into my feeling of self-worth has affected me, has affected the way that I've reached my goals or didn't, has affected how I view myself, how I allow people to treat me. We don't have that kind of time, When you're young and you're a child or you're a teenager, you feel like you have so much time to gain life experience, but it all goes by way too fast. And before you know it, what you didn't learn as a child, lessons about yourself that you didn't learn, they only get harder as you get older. You know, it starts with other kids being rude to you, other kids making fun of you. It starts with, you know, a boy pulling your hair and you don't say anything back to him. Now, you know, you got grown men doing things to you that you don't want done to you. Now you have relationships where you can't stand up for yourself. You have your boss taking advantage of your hard work and you not saying anything about it. It's important. I can't say it enough how important it is to stand up for yourself. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to be mean, but we have to stop doing this thing for our children that you do everything for them, because it's our responsibility to set our children up for success. And giving everyone a freaking check mark, great job, you're doing amazing. Like, you can be supportive, but don't lie to your children. You have to push them forward. And just judging how people grow up, I don't see a lot of success stories for people who were like, yay, you're amazing at everything, and then the child walks around thinking, like, for instance, I like boxing. If your child does boxing or a martial art, and you tell them that they're amazing, and they don't feel like they need to work harder, that they need to show up and practice, that they don't need to push themselves harder, and they go to spar or they go to a fight, they're gonna get their ass whooped. Whose fault is that? They were under the impression that they're freaking top rank, and then they show up, you know, and get their face smashed in because you lied to them. You know, like I think that everyone has the potential, but you have to work hard to reach that potential. And as a parent has to push you in a way that makes you understand that you're doing great, and you have to show up to achieve greatness. You're not just born with it. Even the people that have God-given talents that they're born with, they're not going to be the equivalent, you know, of a world champion that has applied hard work every single day. They're just not. You know, if you're an amazing artist and you're way ahead of your time compared to other children in your class, unless you keep going, unless you understand that you can only get better with practice, you can only get better with showing up every day, you're going to reach a point in your life that other people who work harder are going to have more skill. They're going to be better at your craft than you because they showed up and you thought you had this talent. You thought that you were just born this way. No, you got to put in the work. You have to become more resilient. There's too many people out there that think they have the world around their finger, and then they have very difficult wake-up calls in their 20s and their 30s because they can't do shit by themselves. And then they keep blaming other people. They blame their parents. They blame their upbringing. They have trauma. Like, get over it. Get over it. It doesn't matter what anybody says about you. It doesn't matter what they think about you. It's your job to make sure that you end up exactly where you want to be, and only you can achieve that. Nobody else. Nobody else. Not your parent, not your grandparent, not your caretaker, not your sister, brother, friend, nobody. Not your husband, not your wife. You have to own that shit. So, that's what I have to say.